So I think there's either a missing signpost or an overgrown signpost that I can't see. I did from memory think it was this way, but I double checked on the Outdoor Active app. Which I still might go to. I'm actually going to decide whether I'm going to use, but maybe I'll just use a mixture of all of them. I'm just using the free ones at the minute. I did toy with the idea of paying for a year's worth on one of them, but it works as it is. So anyway, Moyle Way, Ulster Way, the direction I am planning on going. The direction I am going. Just heard a buzzard. So it is like, it's pretty challenging. It's like I've got maybe 13k, might be actually 14k now. I picked up a few snacks and stuff in my bag. But yeah, like it's, you know, I'm sweating, needing water, having to stop, eat my nuts, and it's like it's challenging. My heart's thumping, sweating, but I'm not in the sofa. You know, I'm not in the sofa. I'm not scrolling my life away. I'm not looking for a new TV show to watch. Doing something that is challenging, that does cause me, you know, some discomfort. But I just know when I've saying when, maybe I will not do this, but when I've done this, when I've like camped overnight in the Glenshesk Valley and like made my way back to Ballycastle on the bus home, and I'll be like, I feel so much like accomplishment, and it'll fuel the, you know, the maybe the confidence in myself to go out again, or just add fuel to the fire, or just get that spark going. Who's that big bird? Probably a buzzard. But because we're in the Antrim Hills, there's always this possibility of other things. So here I am, back on the Moyle Way. There have been many brain farts that have nearly brought me back here. And either some inner part boycotted it, or scuppered it, sabotaged it. Or maybe I was coming up with plans that were far too epic that seemed amazing, but were maybe just too much for other parts of myself to reconcile themselves with. But I kind of, I had a plan. I would have gone out yesterday, and I remember back to that Moyle Way video that I did, and it was like my early days. It's, you know, it was mostly a slideshow with a few little sort of talky bits, which weren't actually designed to be aired on YouTube. But I remember like the amount of anxiety and the paralysis, and I realised this is like an ongoing thing. This is not just something that's like, common spotted orchid. Not just something that's just arrived in my life out of nowhere. But I remember being so paralysed with anxiety then. Eventually I did get out and ended up on the trail, and ended up doing the Moyle Way with a slight detour. And again, yesterday I had this like potential, you know, epic adventure, you know, thought up. But I think it was just too much. I think what I need to do is like maybe just downscale a little bit, like dream up the epic thing, because, you know, they're class and it might happen someday because they're now in the little thought bucket. But also just to like, just downscale it, make it more feasible, tangible, easier to do, less likely to trigger anxieties. And you know, even this downscaled version is still a pretty epic adventure. A smaller one definitely, but still pretty epic. So basically, you know, got the train to Coleraine, bus to Ballycastle. Basically I've come up through Ballycastle Forest, this leads me out onto a road that I skirt round, takes you around the side of Knocklade, which is over here. So I'm not going up the top of any peaks, and then you follow that country road around, and then it takes you down to the entrance of Breen Forest, which is like an ancient oak woodland. There's a standing stone, Mesolithic stand, or Neolithic standing stone. I remember going along seeing that on the left. But it's got this, it's got such a feeling once you get into that real ancient feeling, ancient woodland. And that leads you down into the Glenshesk Valley. And I've been there before, and it's actually where I was meant to camp when I did the Moyle Way the last time, a couple of years ago, and then I missed the turn off and ended up walking for hours in the pitch black, and there's nowhere to put a tent. And I ended up sleeping on the side of Sleeve Nora, which wasn't an ideal spot, but I was meant to camp in the Glenshesk Valley. So this is an attempt to go camp in the Glenshesk Valley. And one of the things that attracts me, not only is it beautiful and have this memory of it being beautiful, despite the fact that I have this memory of it being beautiful, you know, when I visualise camping there on my own, you know, my mind is full of ghouls and ghosts and gremlins, and if I focus on the beauty of it, like, it almost puts me in mind, not that I've spent much time in Scotland or the Highlands in Scotland, but it puts me in mind of one of the glens in Scotland. It's got that feel to it. But also there's a grave there, and this grave is for basically the last of the leaders of the McQuillan Clan. The final battle, 1559, Battle of Ora, where the McDonnells finally overthrew the McQuillans. And I'm a McQuillan. So I don't know, you know, whether there's any direct lineage, whether our blood is the same blood. But I'm a McQuillan living in the north of Ireland, and they were McQuillans living in the north of Ireland. And this grave is for Charles McQuillan. So it's just, I've visited it before. It felt like some sort of pilgrimage, and just the more I learn about that history, the more connected I feel to this area, like Ballycastle. And you know, there's Julia McQuillan of Bonamargie Friary in Ballycastle. There's the McQuillans of Dunluce Castle. Charles McQuillan, this grave, it's 1559, that's crazy, like, this is 2024, and it's just a little piece of stone with almost like a little stick figure carved into it, and a little cross carved on the other side. Yeah, and it gives a story to the walk, to the adventure, and it helped me kind of bypass the mist of anxieties. It's like you're trying to get out the door and there's a group of people lying in the hallway just like kicking your shins and pushing you and casting doubt upon you, and you sort of like just need to focus on the door and put your hands up over your ears. But I do believe, you know, all those things, it might seem like, you know, negative voices or not us, you know, I feel like they're there for a reason and have served a purpose in our lives, and it sort of reminds me a wee bit of, like, say, the anxieties and the self-doubt, self-criticism stuff. Like, makes me think of my dad. He was both. And would, you know, even recently has said something along the lines, you know, I worry about you going out on your own, son. I worry about you going out camping on your own. I'm like, Dad, I'm more likely to get electrocuted by an alarm clock, or, well, not these days, fall down the stairs, get stabbed in the streets of Belfast, get knocked down by a car, choke on a piece of food, than I am for anything to happen to me solo camping in these places. But that voice, I think it's that internalized, you know, it's like, as much as it's easy for me to, somebody said that to me and I adventure planned, and maybe it's because I don't have those people in my life now who would be the naysayers, the ones that are saying, what, you're crazy, don't be doing that, that's dangerous. Because if I had that externally, I would be like, away and jump. Go sit in your sofa. I'm away on an adventure. Don't stand in my way. And maybe because I don't have that and there's less people in my life these days, I don't have the naysayers. And actually most people would probably be encouraging me to go out and do stuff. But, you know, I've got that internalised version. Nervous Norman. And I need to acknowledge that that exists within me. It's not an external voice of somebody else. It's actually my own, part of my own inner conversation. And there also is that part, again, you know, I may not have as much of it externally now, but I've internalised it and I've created this voice that does cast dispersion and doubt on me. So, just some thoughts at the beginning of this trail, which is a little bit of a pilgrimage still, it feels that way. But I think there's been a wee bit of inner conflict going on, and I feel like I hadn't had space to really sit down with that and see where I stand, see where I sit, reorient the map. So it's been a wee bit stormy in the inner world. I think it's positive. I think there's some sort of positive changes or positive movements in a good direction, but there's a push and pull. There's a push and pull between, you know, the part of me that's not wanting to let go of the security blankets or previous ways of doing life, and is resisting that, and understandably resisting these things that have been there, reliable, even if negative, detrimental, but have been there reliably, like the worn out security blanket. There we go, some big deep thoughts at the beginning of this pilgrimage. But wow, it's beautiful. It's not amazing weather, but and actually that wind is it does give me the because I sort of imagine it can get, there are gusts, and I don't typically go out, even if whenever it's even again the reasons not to go, like there's a million reasons not to go and do something. Sometimes I just need to find, if there's one good justifiable reason to go, that's enough. Don't listen to the other reasons, because there's always going to be a million, and sometimes it's like it's windy, super windy, and then I assume I'm not going to enjoy it because it's windy, and especially in a hill kind of area, the Glens of Antrim, or I expect it to be higher winds than, you know, in the city. And that definitely has put me off a lot of, you know, potential camping trips. And the rain yesterday, just hearing that rain bashing in the window, I was like, yeah, I'm happy to be inside. But, so there is a bit of a wind, I can feel it. You know, it's probably about it's up to about 20 miles an hour. And there are clouds, and it's kind of dark, ominous-ish looking clouds, but you know, there's no rain forecast. Not I'm saying there's not going to be any rain, but no major rain forecast. And you know, I've got my waterproofs, I've got my tent. I haven't actually tested this tent out, so I actually got it, and I have the fly sheet with me, so I'm actually going to use it as it's designed to be used for the first time, and see what it's made of. Maybe there'll be shelter. I know there's an old ruin building down Glenshesk Valley, and maybe I'll be able to pitch somewhere around it that might provide some shelter, but this is the adventure, it's the unknown, it's the questions of like, where am I going to camp, what's the wind going to be like, is it going to rain, are my knees going to get achy, and is this pack going to be uncomfortable, and like that's the unknown, but that's adventure. Sitting on the sofa is not an adventure. Unless you're sitting on the sofa, you know, diving deep into the inner world, practicing the alchemy of the soul. Right, on the steep descent, losing all the height that I've gained. This will take me down to the road. Then there'll be a bit of a road section. I kind of wish I'd brought my high-vis waterproof rain cover. this backpack, which is a kind of new to me second-hand backpack. And I love the colour of it, and I love that the rain cover it has is actually the same colour as the pack. It's lovely sort of wood brown, but I kind of wish I'd brought my high-vis backpack cover, rain cover, for visibility on the road sections. And I think in future, if I just go, is there any road section? Yes, there is. Okay, high-vis rain cover. But we live and learn. If we live and learn. Oh, this is lovely. There's like all the foxglove in this piece of woodland. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. The foxglove. Poisonous but pretty. Is country road, and there is little or no verge, so this is where I would like to have had my high-vis. There's a wee caterpillar. Hello, wee dude. Are you cabbage white? Right, I'm gonna try it. You get on? You like my thumb better? Ah, well done. So well camouflaged. Good choice. Nice. Anyway, back to country road. And yes, I would prefer to have my high-vis rain cover on my backpack right now, just because there's no pavement, no verges really. And that is the view looking out over the Rathline Island. Amazing. After many years of my walking was actually primarily on country roads, mostly around the north of Ireland, wherever it was handy. And it was great, I loved it. And you just realise how beautiful the landscape is, and you don't need to go far to just get beauty and texture. And in a way, I actually just stopped going to the Mourne Mountains. So I love the texture of, you know, even like the names of the townlands and history of the people, history of the landscape, all that texture, seeing the history of industries gone and past. There's a jay. Hey Jay. Jay's the planter of oakwoods, and maybe generations before that Jay were the ones that planted green oakwoods. And as the sunlight came streaming in, I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the time? When it's not always raining, there'll be days like this. When there's no one complaining, there'll be days like this. When everything falls into place, like the flick of a switch. Oh, my mama told me, there'll be days like this. That's Breen Forest there, with the tufty top on it. And so the trail kind of cuts low at a slight incline, and then there is a steepy section, and I think it takes you up close to the tufty bit. Not quite. I remember going along there, and it's not too far along there, the descent into the Glenshesk Valley, and good chance of deer sightings. So that's coming up to 2 hours, and that's taken me through Ballycastle Forest, and then nearly to the end of this road. So within about another 5 minutes I will be at the entrance to Breen Forest, and that's it. And it's just mad thinking, you know, like 2 hours takes me to Breen Forest, and Breen seems just so far away, like it seems so far away for me, and yet it's just a 2 hour walk pretty much, and a pretty nice walk. The sun's coming out, that helps. So, you know, 2 hours takes me to Breen, and that's, wow, Glenshesk Valley, and it's like the gateway to the rest of the Antrim Hills. Kind of mind-blowing, the power of the mind and imagination, perception. I talk a lot about sort of visualising things, and if you can't visualise it, you can't do it. You won't do it unless you can visualise it. And how when you get stuck in that quagmire in the quicksand, and these things seem just so far away, so beyond, but I'm nearly there, nearly a Breen Forest. I just got one of my favourite whiffs, which randomly is like cow poo. I think it's cow poo. It's the smell of the countryside to me. If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. But I like that smell. Another note is that on these wee country roads, kind of roads that I remember my mum used to take me and my brothers as kids along the Ulster Way, or parts of it that were near our house, and the not the green cross code, the countryside code, or the highway code, and I was, walking the side of oncoming traffic. I stuck sort of rigidly to that, to the point where my partner, my girlfriend, who sort of was adaptable, or like had learned something different, but it was to adapt that, which is, if there's a blind hill or a blind corner and there's no verge, then you go to the other side of the road. So funny, I'd almost like strictly abiding by the rules to the point of being less safe. And it can be hard. Ego can get in the way of us learning or unlearning things, or allowing ourselves to hear, good, solid information from another person. Sometimes I'll have to be humble enough to hear things and just hold our own beliefs and knowledges and whatever else a little bit lighter. Allow the possibility that somebody else might have something to offer. Admitting these things is hard. So that road was the Drumavoli Road, and at the bottom of it is the junction, and this is the entrance to Breen Forest. Look both ways. Can't believe I'm here again. Yeah, there's a lot of forestry activity here at the minute, so there's a lot of signs of like prohibited and whatever else. This is a reassurance. Forest Service woods and forests are open to all, in keeping with our policy of open access. However, you should take note that forest operations are currently taking place in this forest. Where necessary, diversions or closures have been put in place to ensure your safety. Please follow any such instructions and obey all safety signs, like do not climb on timber stacks. I don't know, they look so tempting. Neolithic standing stone. as tempting as that entrance is in this little trail, I have a feeling I might have to go straight ahead. I have to check a map on that one. I'll take a wee break. So yeah, I can actually go through the oak woodland bit, which I will go this time, because I think the last time I just went straight along a forestry trail. So I'm going to go through the oak woodland this time, and it connects up to the same trail. But I stopped. I'm pretty damp from sweat, so I put on my stopper jacket and my wee puffy, just to take. There's a cool wind as well, and it'll be easy just to lose heat just stopping for a few minutes. And I rarely do this, but I rarely actually stop and have food. I usually just like keep marching and then just fire more peanuts into me or whatever snacks I have. So I'm actually going to stop and have something a bit more substantial. Not much like, but I've got spiced Moroccan hummus and whole wheat traditional roti. It'll do alright. Glad I came this way, it's really pretty. Lovely pond, yellow flaggars, so peaceful. So I took the opportunity to sit in one of the timber logs, took my boots off. There's actually a time walking down that road and I nearly took my boots off and put my sandals on. So I'm wearing kind of mid-weight socks. They're kind of an all year round type sock and Gore-Tex boots. And it's not the warmest, yes it's June, but it's not the warmest. But my feet, I would have been glad to have been wearing the trail shoes without a waterproof lining. And again, I'd sort of shifted my ideas about what this little adventure was going to be. And if I was doing the Moyle Way, I would absolutely 100% need waterproof footwear. Brought my gaiters as well, all because the original idea of doing something like the Moyle Way or something longer that would have involved, boggy ground. And realistically, this little adventure is, I think the only boggy ground I'm probably going to encounter is literally on the short descent down into the Glenshesk Valley. And even that may not be too bad, so. But it's getting a bit cooler now anyway, but yeah, I took the opportunity, took my boots off, shook out any bits of grit that seemed to have got in, and it's just nice to let my feet breathe a bit. Had some snacks, still got my jacket on a wee bit. Probably take it off soon enough, my beanie, because it is getting a bit cooler. It's just after 6:15 now. But, this is lovely. Uphill. This is actually a wrong turn I've taken, but it is the most beautiful little accidental detour. So nice. This little boardwalk. Following a river, there's a wee waterfall here. Almost like a miniature Glenshesk. And there ain't nobody here. There's definitely deer though. I can see deer footprints all over the place, or hoof prints. So definitely think deer on the card. Oh my, it's so pretty. Just meander. So I believe I found the main trail, or the trail that was meant to be on, and it is gorgeous too. Like. So nice. Like, green forest. And to think last time I was here, I just walked like around, just kept on the forestry track, not knowing that this magic was here. But I suppose I'm a bit more relaxed because I know I've got time and there's no real rush to get to Glenshesk. Oh, this is absolutely lovely. Just little windy trails and just a river running through, like a little brook more than anything, and everything just looks so wild and ancient, and I expect Robin Hood to come out of the trees. So amazing. The oak. I think the Gaelic for oak is Dura. There's like Durramore, Durramore Street, Durramore Avenue. It's the big oak. And Derry gets its name from Dura, the Oak Grove, or something like that. Oak. Lovely, beautiful. Also, I lost the wee muff bit from the top, the wee wind protector from the top of my mic. So, I think I'm returning the same way tomorrow. And there's only 2 places I took off my rucksack. And actually, I did think when I put it there, is like, be careful. And then, of course, it's steaming up. Down there is where I'm heading. This is a bit that I missed the last time and ended up not turning left down to that valley. Oh. So this is a sign I missed the last time when I was doing the Moyle Way and ended up walking straight on ahead along the more obvious forest track. This is what I'm meant to follow, and it is just this little sheep trail of sorts, which then hopefully then goes down to that direction there, the Glenshesk Valley, where I'm hoping to camp. So I sort of totally forgive myself for missing the sign, and jeepers, I think late in the evening as well. Even now it's getting a wee bit later and darker, but yeah, okay, little yeah, I'm actually glad of my waterproof boots right now. Should have put my gaiters on. Just burning my feet up, it's not even underfoot. There's a sign. I think one of the other things that fooled me last time was it looked like you were descending down into the valley along the edge of a forest, which, you know, looking at this, there's an actual forest there and then there's like new plantation, but potentially this had been forested up to this point and then chopped down and then new trees planted. But it's funny, those little things you can, like assumptions that you make or ideas that you latch onto, and that can really affect your navigation, decisions, awareness. Oh yeah, I can see the valley, and this, you know, it's a minimal trail, but it's a trail nonetheless that I feel is going to continue similarly until the valley, which means I shall arrive at my camp spot. Wow, amazing. Adventures had, legs pushed, definitely feel it. This is going to be some slog getting back up in the morning. Actually thinking about that, like part of me is resistant to walking back the way I came, to go back to Ballycastle. And all those, you know, down hills we're like so thankful for are going to be uphills on the way back. And this one is definitely Ah well, leave that till tomorrow. So this is the kind of terrain you can definitely get in Moyle Way, Antrim Way. Things that very vaguely look like the trail. Pretty boggy underfoot. And oh jeepers. And even though my boots are waterproof, you know, I don't even think either they could be letting in. Sometimes it's just the feeling of the damp moisture getting into the outer material, and then feeling that against your foot can feel like it's letting in, but at least there's a buzzard calling up there somewhere, which is lovely. The welcoming committee. And I can also see the wee footbridge down there. It's so flash whenever you get down there. It's almost like civilization of sorts compared to this. Oh dear. Right, I'm gonna have to focus. Like, you would swear that what you just were walking on was no way part of a recognised trail, and then you see the little stile with the way markers and the bridge all indicating that you were on a recognised, maintained trail. Like, look at that. So designed for putting your feet on. Oh, I'm knackered. Oh, the Glenshesk River. What a beauty. That's the trail that I went up down. Now just to find a camping spot. Been walking further down than I need to, just along the Glenshesk River, to see where to find the prettiest spot to camp. And I was gonna try and get down there, but the reality is it's like impassable. Like, yep, in one of the wettest summers, wettest years. So even doing a trail like this, you might get the notion in your head to do something, and then this is the reality. Like, the only way you can get through that without getting wet feet would be to have waders on, or do a lot of exploring, like going up to the top of that hill and back down again. So now I've decided that is pretty enough for a photo, but like, yeah, not pretty for the camp. And the other spots are not like idyllic, but just little bits beside the path, beside the river. To the point where I'd probably rather be a wee bit further away from the river, so it's not too loud, just in the background, whereas this will be a bit closer than I would like. But it is nice enough. And I'll be, to wake up here in the morning. At least the water will be handy. Refill the water bottles or have my coffee in the morning. these kind of things that it feels like adulting in the outdoors whenever you do things like that are sensible, that are really beneficial, like taking your boots off and, you know, taking rests and raising your feet for wee breaks. And then whenever you get to camp, take your damp socks off and let your boots air. Dry your feet off with a wee towel and stick on fresh socks and have a wee pair of camp shoes. Like, it seems like adulting in the outdoors. And I've been so resistant to it for most of my life, but things are changing. And I'm appreciating the nice little breeze against my feet. It's nice. Unfortunately, the midges turned up and some of them got in the tent straight away. But I've been lucky, to be honest. I think it's that wind. I think the wind's keeping them at bay because I'm right beside a river and lots of wee puddles along this track. So in theory it should be an absolute nightmare for midges. But it's also 9:15, so maybe I got away with it. Haven't put my head net on yet. So this is a bit strange for me, like I'm actually inside a tent, fly sheet on, zip down. Partly because I thought weather was coming in, so it was like panic stations, let's get everything in under cover, and I don't think it is anything other than a little mizzle of rain. So yeah, let's just get back out again. Like this is kind of like what I don't, this scenario that I don't overly want, and hence why I do like use my tarp a lot with the inner, keep that airy feel. I'm so used to using like hammocks and being out in the open and being enclosed inside a wee tent. I'm sure you get used to it, like just that nothing else going on, pitter patter on the fly sheet. But I'm not hearing any pitter patter on the fly sheet right now, so I think I'll just get my seat back up again and sit outside. It's like special brew water. Special brew water from the Glens of Antrim. Sure it'll be fine. I think it's just the peat content in the soil, hopefully. I'm going to use my Sawyer squeeze. Hopefully it'll take out any nasties. And probably boil it too, just in case. So I haven't brought any booze with me tonight. I've just got a wee sachet of spiced ginger tea, which I have tested and is lovely. And I was going to make a sort of addendum to my Moyle Way walk a couple of years ago. I was going to make an addendum to like a commentary on it a few months back, and haven't got around to doing it. But essentially one of the things that I realised was just, I basically brought like 300ml of whiskey or something with me, and then had an amazing blissful day hiking. The first day got to the side of Sleeve na Ora, set up my tent, started drinking whiskey. The next day I was just like realistically just hungover, super dehydrated, and I just ruined that day really. It was just a real slog, a real hardship. Not that the Moyle Way has to be a real slog and a real hardship, just because my Moyle Way, because I brought whiskey. But that was the time when I was drinking every night of the week. The thought of going into the outdoors without alcohol was like a no-go. At least now I'm at a place where I'm not drinking every night of the week, and you know, where I can actually enjoy nights where I'm not drinking, and I'm experimenting with drinking teas, sparkling water with like lemon and lime squeezed into it, and all sorts of just to change the little pathways in my brain, do something different. And I'm actually okay, like there's no anxiety about coming here without some whiskey with me or something. Yeah, I'm really happy that I'm actually out here without that. And just got about 4 tea bags of this ginger tea, and then I've got 2 wee coffee bags for tomorrow. So, yeah. Changing times. Maybe. There's a few midges about, but they're not too bad. And I went and got that water, filtered it, started boiling it, and it was like just tipped over. So I'm having to create I was meant to make a wee windshield out of I do have actual windshields, but they just feel heavier than they ought to be. And I've got like a roasting tray, one of those disposable roasting trays, and I'm going to try and make like a really lightweight windshield out of it that will pack into my cook kit really nice and easily, because it would make a difference now, and I'm having to use pretty flammable materials near this in order to create a wind block. It's not flammable, it's not tent anyway. It seems to be working okay, so the plan is a wee bit of water in that for my tea, and then some couscous. And I still have hummus and wraps left. I could have a wrap with hummus and couscous. This is what I mean about extra weight. So I thought I was maybe going to do something bigger the other day and still have the food in here for the bigger thing, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I've already got that other couscous in the bar. There's 5 couscouses, 1 pasta thing, and I've got my hummus and wraps left. So that's like totally overboard. And that was because I changed plans and didn't adapt. Take that out. And the same with clothes, I think, as well. I think I brought an extra, like, you know, extra t-shirt, extra socks, extra boxers too that I could have taken out. And yeah, I could definitely have lightened the load in it. You know, it was tough enough, but I'm not in shape at all. Like, so yeah, it felt tough getting up some of those inclines, but I'm not in shape. But yes, it could have been a lighter pack, definitely. And I brought things like my puffy insulated trousers. You know, I brought a lighter sleeping bag, but brought my puffy trousers. I probably could have brought the lighter sleeping bag and not the puffy trousers. A few other bits and bobs, like my wee down booties and all that kind of malarkey, but all those wee things do add up, and I'm aware of that. So, and doing those inclines would have been nicer with like maybe 2 kilograms less weight. It would have made a difference, definitely. And I'd say that pack that I brought, I wanted to try it out anyway, but the other one is like, you know, 0.5 kilogram lighter as well. So. Just me on my own in the Glenshesk Valley. So random. The ever useful shoe cup holder. So yeah, there's enough rain to, I just don't feel like I want to go, I can't sit in the tent yet. And I do think, you know, I think I would really appreciate the extra space. This wee tent is 1 kilogram, so that's fantastic. But I think, especially if it's like inclement weather, I kind of wish I would have had my Vango Krypton for that extra space, but also just for like organising things. It's actually tricky with a really small ship to try and squeeze everything in and like figure out where to put things, and it's all a bit of a mess and whatever. But it'd be nice to actually have that bigger inner tent space just to have things around, like know where things are. And if it was in the tent, it'd be much nicer to be in it. I'm actually glad I brought my puffy trousers because I could feel the coolness in my legs, and it'll be nice just to get into those whenever I do get in the tent. And even though it's June, I don't think there's a time of year where fingerless gloves are not for the win, but I think I might actually have another wee ginger tea. It's lovely. Not ready for bed yet. It's 9:30. But I know if I go lie down I don't sleep. But I think it will be an early night, and there's nothing else going on. So even if it doesn't get dark till near 11, I'll be lying down by then. And I'm sure sunrise is quite early too, so it might be a very early start. Which is good, that's fine. I'll feel so exhilarated actually, just like waking up in the morning, and hopefully it's sunny or something. That'll be just nice to wake up to that and have the feeling of celebration of having done something or achieved something, and, you know, got out of my comfort zones and made something happen. Yeah, it's the feeling of like, once I've done all those hills, it'll be amazing walking down through that last part of Ballycastle Forest, just walking downhill and into Ballycastle town. That'll be amazing. Maybe going to a wee cafe and treat myself. But I don't want to be thinking just about that. I want to like be here and enjoy this and know I can do this too. You know, I've got everything I need to make this work. Got waterproof trousers on now and my top. And it's alright. It's alright. It's good enough. A wee bit of mizzle. There's a wee goat. Hello, goat. Hiya. Just going for a wee evening dander up to the bridge just to see. There's the McQuillan Group across the other side. So you definitely can't cross the river. So, gee, that goat has massive horns. Well, that must be his mate. Check out it. Hey goat. That goat there has huge horns. Wouldn't want to mess with those. Look at that. Mystical. I could be in Scotland right now. Who knows? Those are the old Ulster Way signs. I genuinely do not think there's a reasonable way through to get to the actual gravestone. Well, might have to deal with that goat with the big horns. Might just check that out in the morning. So yeah, I might just have to deal with the fact that I may not actually get to the gravestone, even if it's so close. This is just stick my just stick my my sandals on and my bare feet and just walk across and dry my feet off again. Could do that actually. Might do that because it's like literally just the other side of that river. Okay, I might do that actually. I do like the colour of that wee fern tent. Like it's only, actually this is making it look brighter than it is, but it took me ages, like nobody would know. Like that's probably close to how bright it is, somewhere around between those, and it's so hard to make out until you're right up on it. Noise. Well, I've got my puffy trousers on, long johns, just fresh tent clothes, which is nice. New fresh socks. And I'm just lying on top of my sleeping bag actually because I think I'm warm enough. Well, it's not fully dark yet, but I do feel the tiredness kicking in just from the exertion today, which is nothing major in the grand scheme of things. I just wonder how I would tackle things like the West Highland Way, like 5 days doing 20 miles. Anyway, thoughts for another day. Time to just enjoy lying down, listening to the river. Morning. It's about 7:30. Just after. Could have stayed in the tent longer. Didn't sleep brilliantly, but I'm sure I've got enough of our sleep. There were no noises that sound of the river is loud, and I probably would have preferred to have been a bit further away from it. So the wind's picking up. It's been skiffs of rain all night. It's not been like full on, but then you get these gusts of wind as well. So just went off and did the needful, so at least that's done, and it wasn't raining when I was doing that, because getting a wet arse while you're doing a poop is not great. Yeah, so I needed to say, just if I just get up and get in the move, or just sit here, like it's again just tent dwelling. And if I had the bigger tent, I'd probably feel a bit more relaxed about hanging out a bit more. I think I might just pack up and just eat on the move. If there's a nice wee break in the weather somewhere along the trail, then I can get the stove out and make some couscous or something. And I think there's plenty of water stops along the way anyway, so I can fill up here anyway. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not starving now, so we shall see. Get this mansion packed away. Actually, one little comment on this tent is that zip, whenever it's wet especially, because the silicone gets a bit floppy when it's wet, and it doesn't, like, there's no rigidity to this at all. There's nothing that really makes it want to sit down flat. So whenever you've zipped that down from the inside, there's no way for you to, you know, get that to sit down at all. And I think that's why this is not, you know, a £400 MSR. It's a tent that retails at £400, but is, well, I got this for $179.99. You know, which is great for a silk nylon new tent weighing in at 1.1 kilograms, but there are going to be some sacrifices. Other than that, definitely did the trick. It's a wee beastie. Just making my way up the trail that is no trail. Steep. Just have my heart thumping already. I haven't had breakfast. I need to get water, but I'm willing to get into Breen Forest again. The rain was coming up pretty hard, so had most of the tent packed away, apart from the tent. Luckily, because it doesn't take much of that rain to get absolutely everything soaked. So, all bagged up, ready for Ballycastle. Be so nice. I do hope it was rain. This rain clears would be great. But once I get into Breen Forest, downhill, get some water, and then there's the uphill road section, mostly, and then uphill into Ballycastle Forest, then downhill down into Ballycastle. First things first, the trail is no trail. Those feet are soaked through. Those boots ain't waterproof no more. That's with wrapped down poor waterproof trousers, Gore-Tex gaiters. Stinking. Coming to the end of the trail, it is no trail. Despite the advertisement. So glad to see. Forestry track. What? Who knew? Oh, my feet are soaked. So, I've a thought that if I get down to the road, I might see if I can thumb a lift into Ballycastle. Oh, thank goodness I made that. Basically, up the high points of Breen Forest now. So at least I'll be downhill for a good part of this. My goodness, and I thought that I did, like on the Moyle Way that last time, I made reference to that last night, but like I had drunk all that whiskey and was hungover, and not that I really acknowledged that in my storytelling about the Moyle Way, never brought into the equation that, you know, I basically drunk loads of whiskey, next day was a shit show because I had to walk 16 miles and was hungover, and the hangover didn't go away anywhere. Like that was still difficult enough. you know, it was relatively short distance, but those inclines were heart pounding and my feet are soaked through. So it's not the most comfortable feeling in the world, but as I say, I'm so glad that it was done without a hangover. I can see a wee skiff of rain coming down over there. Lovely. Nice seeing those views again. Knocklead, wee bit of sunlight actually cruising down this back slope, and Rathlin Island over there. So just thinking about the importance of water, and because, you know, the weather is pretty messy this morning, and then that's what made me like up and out and, you know, didn't go collect water when, you know, it would have been nice to have had it for that, you know, hard incline, and now as well without having to go find it now. But and what I should have done was actually filled up the Seanock water bag the night before, so it was there to filter in the morning. So even if I hadn't filtered it, at least it was there in the bag to filter and squeeze into my water bottles. That is what I probably should have done. It's not what I did do, as is often the case. And also came up with I just noticed that thing whenever you're dehydrated, like we dehydration test, is whenever you spit and it looks like cuckoo spit, like it's all white and frothy, that's a sign you're dehydrated. And I'm like thinking about that. So obviously, yeah, you know, I've exerted myself yesterday as well, so my need for water and to replenish water supplies in me is higher. So I would have needed to do that when I got to camp, you know, drink more water. And then this morning as well. So the thought that the last time I did the Moyle Way, I didn't just not drink water, started getting the whiskey into me. Seabirds, oh, I have made some questionable decisions in my life. Oh well, I have grace for myself in that moment. At that time, there was a celebration of having achieved something great, and I had. I just had to then achieve something twice as long after that. Here's to the journey. Here's to finding a water source. Pretty sure there's one or two down here. I got to nip into the forest. There's a wee brook. I don't know who I had there. It was almost looked like a young willow warbler, or young chiff chaff came to visit me. Oh, that was lovely. I'm also walking down these long stretches of descent, going fair play. Like I actually walked up. Oh, like I actually can't believe in some ways that I walked up all of this last night. Like at the time, I was just in the zone, probably just making it happen. But good grief, like this is a long, slow, relatively arduous ascent. Going the other way. Wow. Save me. Sort of. Shall it blow it like hell? Ah. I do trust my water filter, but I've got my limits. Jesus. Stinking. So it is. Look at that beauty. Gorgeous oak tree. I'm coming up to the spot where I may have dropped a wee wind muff off my microphone, hence why the wind noise in the last video was probably horrendous. Anyway, so where is it? So chances of finding her slim, the butte. I've had experiences before where I found ridiculous. There it is. It survived the night. Oh my goodness. I thought that was going to be a difficult find, like it was going to be blown into a wee nook or cranny, but there it is. Right there. Amazing. It's a good omen. Right, I might actually sit down here as I did, stash that, and then take a layer off, because I put my puffy on in the morning, and I always do that where I start walking like all prepared. of the elements after being in your tent, and then you just end up more dehydrated because you're sweating. And anyway, I need to go up in there to get to the river and get some water sorted, so maybe I'll go up there first and then get sorted. Okay. He wants a good seat. There's a bench there. There's a bench, okay. So I managed to get some water there. Obviously on maps things could be marked as rivers, but you never know what you're going to get, and it was a really small little brook. And then I made that mistake where it was like, because it was so shallow at one point before I found the wee mini waterfall, I was then sort of trying to scoop the water up, then you end up dredging the dirt up, which isn't going to kill you, but it's just going to jam up your water filter. So it kind of needs to be deep enough so that you don't do that. But where this little waterfall was happening, and it was actually filtering out a lot of the stuff anyway, so yes, that'll be enough. I've got just over a litre of water there, so it's really to get me up that road section, because once I'm in Ballycastle, it's downhill to Ballycastle, and I can resupply or treat myself down there. But it's nice stopping out. I have this tendency, and have had this tendency for years, just to slog it out, you know, get it done kind of attitude. Like, and it's actually just nice, just looking after the needs, going, okay, I need water, get water, need food, get food, need to take off a layer, like, just do that and add to your happiness in the moment. I think so much of this stuff and life in general is about doing that stuff, instead of just going like, right, let's get this done, finished, over with. You know, and even though I got wet feet, my feet are soaked through, but they're, you know, at least they're warm. At least the midges aren't biting too hard. Right, need to get these water bottles filled and then continue on the journey. So absolutely no colours. So the sweet thought of hitchhiking, it's not going to happen. So I'm just beginning my 2 3/4 mile of the incline of the Moyle Road, one foot in front of the other. All good though. Cup of water, waterproof trousers and gaiters off because they are not comfortable to walk in. Raven. So far it's been okay, like doing inclines on a wee country road. It's kind of doable, but the first thing I did this morning was boggy and pretty grim. This nice big steep section coming up here. It's long as well. Well, there's cows in the fields, wee sheep. Hello, sheeps. Morning. And wee chaffinches and swallows and views over the valley. So all that's great. That's partly why I love country road stuff. Think about these people do these mad, like super long cycle around the world type things and say that they enjoyed every moment of it. I'm like, did you really? Because even this here, I know I'm not the fittest, but like parts of it were definitely not enjoyable. Like, I just wonder if they have like this random meme generator that works 24/7 and just like pumps them out like positive psychology memes all day long to keep them in a positive mindset. Jeez. Well, it's okay to say that some parts of this were just not enjoyable, but it's nice for me to know that, you know, I've got the resilience to, you know, get through those times when it's not, you know, you're not getting the enjoyment factor or the pleasure factor, and like it's not instant gratification stuff. It's not instant gratification thing. It's like the reward will be whenever you're home with your feet up in the bath, nice hot bath. Have a coffee in your hand. But to be present to that moment, to be present to the difficulty, present to all the sort of thoughts that are in your head, like, how can I get out of here the quickest? How can I bail out? How can I not feel this? But it's like to feel it, that getting beyond that, you know, difficulty, and then getting to this stage, which is still difficult, less difficult, but it's just funny how it's kind of becomes like an equilibrium, a balancing thing, a harmony. Compared to that, this is great. Oh, John, look at the polypores in that. Jeepers, oh. They're giant birch polypores. Amazing. I was so focused on the fact there was a steep incline, like steep, long, gradual incline. I sort of forgot that there's actually some nice long flat stretches. So cute. Nice. So you can see Ballycastle Forest, and I can see Rathlin through the trees, so I know I'm near the entrance, well, the back entrance of Ballycastle, so I need to make my way through it. Once I get to the top of that slope in Ballycastle Forest, I think I'll sit down and know it's all downhill and bask like fuck. Woo. Right. Last incline. Let me take a wee break first, just pick my tails up here. Right, I've had a wee break. Let's get along the Moyle Way and Antrim Ways. I think you get these things which have nice wee platforms either side for sitting on and sticking your rucksack on. Don't know if that's what they're designed for, but that's what they've become. And I used to not do this enough, like just stopping and rejigging, like, you know, just either airing your feet out or just changing a layer or whatever else, like so. Just even just stopping for a break for morale. So I know this is the last sort of incline, and we get up there, and then that's home run to Ballycastle. So I've taken the chest pack off. That was bugging me a bit, so I've got that launched on there. Got all the waterproofs off. This is probably too much to be wearing right now, but again, I'll take it off if I need to. Yeah, here we go. Last stage of this sojourn. This is actually an incline, and I'm like going for it. What's happened? Tighten my bootlaces, is this what happened? Can't believe it, I'm ready at the incline, done. And I was like, leaning into it. And it's done. That was way quicker than expected. Splendid little cones. Very elegant. Chandelier. Candelabra. Like. Nice. So close now. Last few bends and I'll be in the Ballycastle. It's good to see the castle there. Fantasising about what food I want to eat. Looking forward to chilling on the bus and that beautiful coastline, and then the train journey, which I love travelling in trains, so I'll be so chill. Looking forward to that. Well, yeah, I ended up chatting to a guy, he's a bed leader, and he was just checking out a few sections for his group that's going to be doing the Moyle Way. So I was giving him a few updates on the Glenshesk Valley area, etc., and how flooded some parts of it is. Okay, I have to be honest, there were a lot of false summits. Not summits, false corners, false in my head, thinking, oh, this is the last turn, this is the last bend, this is the last straight run to home, but nope. There were loads. This actually is, right now, this actually is the last part of the trail. That's just where your head though, whenever you're like, you're ready to sit down and call the adventure to an end. Oh, there's wee warblers warbling to each other. I know it sounded like a wee wren over there somewhere. Oh well. That was in. I love this narrow corridors like this. Whenever the swallows fly in, it's almost like they're like X-wing fighters going in to take out the Death Star. It's like they fly in, it's like... Amazing. This is when I want a swallow to turn up and do that. Nope. Nope. I just find that hard to swallow.